Welcome to WMUL-FM Training. I'm Mike Stanley. Today I'm going to talk about the new logging system. This new system will replace the station's existing paper-based logs. You know, these things. The new digital system is a web app that is accessible from any computer at the station. It has several features to make it easier to complete the logs correctly. It will remind you when it's time to take a program log entry, when to take a meter reading, or conduct an EAS receiver check. If all goes well, the station plans to begin using this new system on Monday, July 10th. Until the station actually starts using the app will be hooked up to a test and training database. Everything that is entered into the app before then will be thrown away. Feel free to test out the app and enter whatever information comes to mind. It won't be official. Everything entered prior to July 10th will be discarded. As I said, this is a web app that is accessible from any computer at the station. A shortcut has been placed on the desktop of every non-Rivendell workstation. In addition, a laptop has been placed in Studio A specifically for the logging system, at least through the summer. Different solutions are being explored for the long term. First thing I do is log into the computer. I've already done that. Next, I find the WMUL log icon on the desktop. It's this, and it looks like a piece of paper with lines of text, the word log over the paper, and the name WMUL Log. I double click on that and it opens up in Firefox, the best web browser. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Mike, I love Chrome. Using Chrome is what gets me up in the morning. To you I say, okay, what I'm going to do is open up Chrome and then type into the URL bar wmul-log.marshall.edu. And boom, it takes me straight to the log page. Now I can make a bookmark so I don't have to type it in next time. This also works with Edge, but not old school Internet Explorer. So now I have the WMUL-FM Logs app open in my web browser. At the top it says WMUL-FM Logs, and below that I have two links, Sign On and Recent Operators. Sign On is a bit bolder to show that Sign On is the current page. Down below that I have text fields for Sign On, Time On, and Date On. The Date On is already filled out for me. I type my name into the Sign On field, and then move down to the Time On field. Now with these time fields, it has a specific format that I have to follow. I can see that it's showing me that format right here next to the Time On label. Hour, minute, minute, AM or PM. The time is right down here in the system clock, 10:08 AM. If I were just to type 10:08, it will display this error message because there are two 10:08s in the day. The app also does not understand 24-hour time. I'll type in the time correctly and then click over here to clear the error message. This time has to be accurate. It is the time that I take legal and actual control of the station. The date has already been filled in for me. 06/08/2023 for June 8th, 2023. The date also has a specific format. month/day/year. And it shows me that format right here next to the Date On label. If the Date On field is wrong, I would just change it. It's just another text field that I can type into. Now I click on Sign On and it moves me over to the actual logging page. I can see at the top here my name, the date, and the time that I signed on. This is the same information that I just typed in on the previous page. Below that, it's a little bit blank because I haven't done anything yet. You can see it here, it says current program, no program in progress. Down here it says previous program log entries, no rows found. Both of these are like this because I haven't started a program log yet. Down at the bottom of the screen, highlighted in faint green, says start new program log entry. And then a bunch of fields to fill out. Program type, program name, additional text, start time, and start date. I'm going to start with the program type. As of this recording, I have 5 options: music, news, special, sports game, and sports program. I'm going to choose music. Now I go over to program name. I click on the drop down and see that I have 9 options. alternative, blues, flashback, freeform, gospel, jazz, morning show, special, street beat, and the rock. The list in the program name drop-down box is based on what I selected in the program type drop-down box. So if I go back to the program type box and change it to sports game, then the options in the program name box are all sports games. Baseball, football, men's basketball, etc. So I'm going to change the program type back to music. I'm going to change my program name. I can type into this search box and it will narrow the options down for me. So I type in Flash, and it shows me the only option that contains Flash. I click on it and set my program name back to Flashback. This next text field says Additional Text and Optional. I can leave this blank, or I can type in the specific title of my program. This field is sometimes optional and sometimes required. If I change my program name to Special, I can see now that it says Special Title, and it no longer says Optional. This also happens with sports games. If I select Softball, the label changes to say Opponent. I type in the opponent for the game I'm board hopping, say Coastal Carolina. On the rare occasion that Marshall is hosting a tournament and the station is broadcasting a non-Marshall game, I would put both teams in here, say Coastal Carolina versus Old Dominion. But for this program, I'm going to click back to music and then Flashback. And I'm going to type the title of my program into the additional text field. The Super Terrific Happy Hour. The next field is Start Time. This is the actual time that I start my program. Most often, that will be the same time that I signed on the previous page, and that time is displayed here at the top of the page. However, I might be doing more than one program back to back, therefore the second program would have a different start time. Now, I've spent several minutes here explaining things about the log, so the time down here on the system clock is advanced a few minutes from what's up here at the top. I'm going to input the actual time that I'm starting my program, 10:16 a.m. Once again, the start date has been completed for me. I click Log Program Start, and it says Row Saved at the top for a second. And also, the current program displays the information that I just submitted. My signature, Michael Stanley. The date, 06/08/2023, 10:16 a.m. Music, Flashback, the Super Terrific Happy Hour. I can also see the same information here under the previous program logs entries with the date and end time blank. This bar just changed from faint green to faint red, and it now says EAS receiver check needed. That's reminding me to do the EAS receiver check. Right here under the current program listing, there are several tabs. Programs, that's the tab I'm currently on. Meter readings, for when I go to do a meter reading. I don't need to do one of those just yet, but I'll get to it. EAS receiver check, which is what I need to do now. And sign off, for when I've completed my program and I'm ready to sign off the log. I'm going to click on EAS receiver check and it'll take me to that tab. At the top of the tab it says most recent check. Mike Stanley, 06/05/2023, 11:19:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That was 3 days ago, so I need to do one for today. In this video, I'm only going to talk about how to log the EAS receiver check. If I needed a refresher on how to perform the check, I would go to the Operations Manual, Volume 2. That's the one with the old style audio mixer on the cover, and turn to page 34, Section 8C2. This part says New EAS Receiver Check, and it has the same faint red highlight. There's a pair of options here for each of the 3 stations that we listen to for EAS. Not working or working. Once I listen to all 3 stations, I select the correct option on the log for each station. In my case, they are all working, so I select Channel 1, working. Channel 2, working. Channel 3, working. Now, if any of these stations were not working, that's what this text box here is for. It says notes. If something isn't working, please explain how it isn't working. E.g., Channel 2 is completely silent, or Channel 3 is static. So I would type whatever I needed into this box. But in this case, everything is working, so I'm going to leave this blank. I click on Complete Receiver Check, and now it says Most Recent Check, Michael Stanley, 06/08/2023, 10:23:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the part that says New EAS Receiver Check is now highlighted in faint green. Up at the top, this bar is once again faint green and blank, indicating that there is nothing that I need to do at the moment. I'm going to flash forward to the end of the hour, 11:50. The bar is once again faint red, and it says Meter Reading Needed. Meter readings are due every hour between 50 minutes and 59 minutes in the hour. I click on Meter Readings, and it takes me to the tab. I can see that under Previous Readings, it says No Rows Found, because I haven't taken any readings yet. Below that it says Take New Meter Reading, which is again highlighted in faint red to tell me that I need to take a reading. Just like with the receiver check, I'm only going to explain how to log the meter reading, not how to get the information. If I needed a refresher on how to perform the meter reading, I would once again go to the Operations Manual, Volume 2, that's the one with the old style audio mixer on the cover, and turn to page 38, Section 8C4. I get the information from the transmitter remote control as I go along. The transmitter room temperature is 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Plate voltage is 3930 volts. Plate current is 1.13 amps. Effective radiated power is 1363 watts. Now I click Record Meter Reading. It shows me the meter reading I just took, and all the things that were faint red are changed back to faint green. This is another notes field. That's for any remarks or power adjustments. Just as a hypothetical scenario, I'm going to imagine that instead of a plate current of 1.13 amps, I instead found a plate current of 1.23 amps. Which would make the effective radiated power 1487 watts. That's outside the legal limits. The transmitter power must be between 1260 watts and 1470 watts, and our ideal target is 1400 watts. In this hypothetical case, the power is too high, so I type that into the notes field and click Record Meter Reading. Next, I use the transmitter remote to lower the power. Then I take another meter reading. The plate current is down to 1.16, which makes the effective radiated power 1402 watts. I type into the notes field lowered power and click Record Meter Reading. Now, anyone who looks at these logs will be able to see that at 11:53 a.m., I noticed that the power was too high, and at 11:54, I had corrected the problem. In this hypothetical scenario, the station needs both readings, one showing that the transmitter is out of range, and a quick follow-up reading showing that the transmitter has been brought back into the required range. It's time to end my show. I click the Programs tab, and it takes me back to that tab. Down here it says Complete this program log entry. Then it has the information I submitted earlier, my signature, Michael Stanley, the date, 06/08/2023, 11:30 a.m., music, flashback, the super terrific happy hour. Some of this doesn't match what I typed in earlier due to having to re-record this part of the video. Then it has two fields, end time and end date. I enter the end time, 11:55 a.m. Once again, the end date has been filled out for me. But I have to watch this if my show runs up to or crosses midnight. It might have the wrong date. For instance, if my show ran from 11 p.m. on June 8th until 1 a.m. on June 9th, this box might still say June 8th, even though it is now the 9th. But that date, June 8th, is correct. So I click on Log Program End. It makes a new entry in the previous program log entries table. The current program goes back to no program in progress, and it takes me back to the Start New Program Log entry. One thing I noticed is there are two entries in the previous program log entries table. The top entry is the completed program log with both start and end dates and times. And below that is the partial program log entry that just has the start date and time. This is just a display bug related to the way WMUL log works under the hood. If I click over to meter readings and back to programs, it now only shows the single completed entry. You'll notice it's also telling me I need to do another program log entry, but my show is over, so I'm just going to sign off. My show is over, and I've logged into my show. Now I need to sign off the log. I click sign off, and it takes me to this tab. I type in my name in the sign off field, then complete the time off, 11:57 a.m. And once again, the date is completed for me. I click sign off, and boom, it takes me back to the sign on page. The app is ready for the next DJ. Next, I'll talk troubleshooting. Scenario 1, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Mike, I was logging my show, and I accidentally closed the web browser. I opened it back up, but it took me to the sign on page. How do I get back into my log? And to you I say, click on recent operators at the top. Now it's showing you all the operators who have signed on, but not signed off in the previous 18 hours. That John Smith right there, that's you. Click on that, and boom, it takes you to the logging page where you can continue logging your show. If you're in the middle of logging your program, click the incomplete entry in the previous program logs entries table, and it loads that up as the current program. Scenario 2, you're saying, Mike, the DJ before me forgot to sign off. They did their program log, they did their meter readings, they did the EAS receiver check. They just forgot to sign off. So, John Smith is still showing up here at the top, where he signed in a couple of hours ago. How do I log my DJ shift? And I say to you, click on the sign off tab. You're not going to sign off for them. That would be falsifying the log. What you are going to do is go down to this beautiful little blue and white button that says, Previous operator forgot to sign off. Click on that, and boom, it takes you back to the sign-on page. Scenario 3, you're saying, Mike, I'm John Smith. I was the previous DJ who forgot to sign off. But Emily Doe already signed me out and signed herself in. How do I get back in to finish my log? And I say to you, go to another computer at the station, any computer, log in, and double-click the WMUL log icon on the desktop. Remember, this is a web app, so it's accessible from any computer at the station. The app will take you directly to the sign-on page. What you're going to do then is click where it says Recent Operators. Now it's showing you all the operators who have signed on, but not signed off in the previous 18 hours. That John Smith right there, that's you. Click on that, and boom, it takes you to the logging page where you can finish any logging that you forgot to do the first time. That'll do it for this episode of WMUL-FM Training. I'm Mike Stanley.